celebrations to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
The bye weeks are over. It's all about football all the time as we're underway here in Week 13.
Good work, boys. Let's go.
So here come the Ravens with their first look on offense. They'll have Lamar Jackson calling the shots, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville.
And he ought to have a lot of pep in his step after last week's performance because he did exactly as you want him to play if you're a coach. 3 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, which usually means you're making a lot of right decisions out there.
And got him the win.
Here we go. Set. Set the plan. Mike, what we got? What we got? What we got? Short. 53 is the mic. 53 is the mic. Get your swerve on.
On 1st and 10, it's Jackson. He's got his man. It's Andrews. 5 yards on the game's first play. 2nd down. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5.
Yeah, let's get sack lunch.
They'll run. This is Gus Edwards. And he's got some space here. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Gus Edwards, his 5th touchdown now on the year. As his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. That drive started on their own 25. 2 plays, 75 yards later, into the end zone.
Justin Tucker to kick off for Baltimore.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is taken at his 4. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. So now here comes the Eagles offense as they get ready to take over. As we get a peek at the number 2 overall pick from the 2016 draft, standing at 6'5", Carson Wentz.
And I'll bet he's talking to his guys about resisting the temptation to try and turn this into an up-and-down game. Almost like basketball, where both teams press, and one team gets an advantage, our team's trying to run with them, and they're just not equipped for it. Doesn't matter whether you're equipped or not. Just settle in, get calm before you go for the big strikes.
Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 22. Miles Sanders, first carry of the game. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down. Plays like we just saw there, that's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. A first carry for the converted wideout, J.D. McKissick. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. Working from the gun, Wentz. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Tyus Bowser in there to bring him down, and that is sack number 17 for him now on the year.
This offensive line has struggled. In fact, when we sat down with the coach, he said it's been in tatters lately. They allowed 6 sacks in their last game. Just gave up another one right there.
In tatters, so it sounds a little bit like this right now?
Exactly. It's like that paper being ripped. And right now, they've got to find a way to get it back together.
On 4th down, Matt Hawk to punt it away. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. Here's Hill on the return. On the return, but for a moment looked like he had a shot to go all the way, and the Ravens will take over. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in, but I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
Hey, man, watch the boot, watch the boot.
Edwards now on 1st and 10. They'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6. He was well over 100 yards last week. He told us this week, a little ambitious, that he wants to hit that 200 mark. We'll see.
Makes sense, though, doesn't it? Have we ever run into a running back that had a great game the week before? They didn't think that's just going to naturally continue. Just make sure you feed me the football. And that's what they're all about. Continuity, rhythm, number of carries. Just keep giving it to him.
And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. He got 29 yards that time. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception.
And he will take it in for a Ravens touchdown. Gus Edwards with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter as the Ravens push further out in front.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drop.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Tucker with the extra point, and it's now 14-0. Just a 4-play drive that time, and it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run.
Justin Tucker to kick off for Baltimore.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is taken at the 3.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
The Eagles take over 1st and 10 at their own.
Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over. over possession. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays.
Let's go, defense.
Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll...
And I think he's going to go. They're not going to get him. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. 36 yards on the play. Boy, the offensive line there, that was a thing of beauty to watch them block.
I love how you give a little appreciation for those big guys up front, and well-deserved. But how about the execution behind them? You can see the hours of practice that have gone into it. Great pocket by the running back. The quarterback puts it right in the perfect spot. Great mesh point by them. The timing on point. The run even better.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. And here are the starters for Philadelphia.
An offensive line play is not something that comes to mind readily, but it's always a big key in a ball game. And already these guys, they're getting it done up front, as we've seen this rushing attack have some early success.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. It's a second down run with Sanders. Only a yard on the pickup there, so it leaves them needing a conversion here on 3rd and a tough 9. Now the starters on the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens. They were excellent a week ago in that victory over the Colts.
The best defenses I know, they draw lines in the sand and say you're not going to cross that. For most of them, it's 100 yards of total offense. They didn't quite accomplish that, but still a pretty darn good game last week. Just over 100 yards of total offense given up.
In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Play fake to Sanders. Now here's Wentz. He's got a first down and more inside the 30. And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens' 26.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
We used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
They run on first down, but it only produces a gain of 2. It's 2nd down now. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
2 yards on the pickup. It's 2nd and 8 at the Ravens' 24-yard line. That's
14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
Eagles nothing.
Here we go. 180. I'm on. Hey, stack.
From the 24, Wentz throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
No gain on the play.
Now the old pass completion for no gain, not something you want to call up out of the playbook too often.
Yeah, most offensive coordinators don't have that on their play sheet, so they've got to go back and scramble after this one. But right now, with what they're telling receivers about making sure you take care of the ball in open field, sometimes the fighting for extra yardage doesn't come as a result. That and good tackling can lead to no yards gained.
The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players. Somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You get better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
Now a play fake. Wentz. And he's going to be taken down, sacked back around the 18-yard line.
2 sacks last week, another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
A few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point. First down, a bit of a disaster, and now on 2nd and goal, back even further. Now Wentz. It's caught by Jackson. And they'll work this down to the 15 for a pickup of 4. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. This has been a long drive. You got to figure a field goal would be a letdown. Can they convert now on 3rd and goal? Now Wentz. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off inside the 10. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 from back at their own 10-yard line. Now it's Jackson, and he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Malcolm Jenkins, the strong safety, swoops in for the under.